All right, we're going to do a little service on the X748 here. First, we're going to change the oil, which I've covered in other videos, so that'll be pretty simple. And then second, I'm going to jack up the front end, and we're going to inspect the steering cylinder, and we'll also inspect the tie rod. I just want to make sure that the tie rod and everything is accepting grease. There's no worn components, and I'll get into that when I get to that point. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and change the oil. And I'm also going to do a little bit of maintenance on the battery because I noticed that there was some corrosion on the battery terminals a few weeks ago. So let me get set up to do that and we will get busy. Because I'm going to be working on the battery, one of the first things I need to do is actually take the hood off. To take the hood off of the X series, basically all you have to do is release this weather clamp or this weather electrical fitting right here. I'm going to see if I can do it one-handed. You're going to release that. That releases the headlight wires from the rest of the hood. So headlight wire, the headlight harness comes down and then goes down here and comes out right here. And now what you're going to do, and I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed, to get the hood off. If you look down there at the very corner or the end of my finger, the hood wheels, I'll say, they end up in a channel. And so what you can do is you can just pull both sides up out of that channel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift up out of the machine. So I'm going to actually see if I can set the camera here. We're going to see if I can't lift this up without the camera falling over. So typically what I'll do is I'll grab the hood in a couple different locations. You can see that those wheels will come out, and then you have the second set of wheels in there. And it's just a matter of dragging it out like that. And unfortunately in the process, I'll show you here in just a second. Looks as though my weather fitting on my headlight harness has come off, so we'll have to fix that as well. That has happened before to this machine. It's had some, I think somebody tried to remove the hood prior and kind of stretched all that out. So I'll go in there and this weather pack kit is actually pretty cool. So we'll check that out. But here's the kind of the corrosion and everything I saw in the battery. Knock on wood, I got this machine in 2013 and this is the battery that came with it. So I'm just going to keep using it. But I am going to take all that apart, clean it up a little bit, and do some maintenance there. So let me, I'll probably do the battery maintenance first, then we'll change oil, and then we'll tackle the front axle. All right, we'll get to work on these batteries. So kind of to describe what I've got here, this line right here is actually for a sprayer. So I can hook the sprayer end here. So that's why it's got this fuse right there, and here's the ground for it. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the ground first. That way there's no explosions or anything. Tell you what, that's stuck on there. I have to go get a screwdriver. Normally you can just do it with. Now I gotta go get a screwdriver. This will probably be the death of this battery now that I'm messing with it. That's generally how it goes, I believe. There we go. Got it loose. All right, we'll just set that there to clean it in just a minute. And now the corroded side. Might need a new battery terminal before we release the battery bolt. Oops, sorry, hit the camera there. My ½ inch is too big. Well, let's try metric. These may very well be metric, although that would be a bit odd. 12 millimeter did it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here, because I'm going to replace that nut no matter what. Yeah, a little corrosion. Push that down. See if we can. I can't actually remember the last time I looked at this battery. My guess is it was probably about a year ago would be my guess, because I had the whole thing apart cleaning it back in the spring of 2020. Normally I try to keep a little bit better track of my batteries than this. This is almost kind of embarrassing, because this is terrible. I'm just hoping I can save the ends of the battery, or the ends of the battery cable, sorry. Yeah, she's on there good. Maybe I shouldn't be disturbing it, and I should just let it go. Because this battery is this battery was new in 2013. I'm gonna go get some more tools. That way tools can fly everywhere. I always love that. I think that, there we go. We got it coming now. Yep, okay. Perfect. Now, we can release the rubber strap there. And we can slide the battery out. All right, so there's step one. So now what I'm gonna do, just to save you a little bit of time and watching a video, I'm gonna go ahead and get all these cleaned up and everything, and I'm gonna see, it looks like that end is completely gone there. See if I can salvage that. If not, I'll have to put a new end on this, but that seems to be quite an undertaking. That I probably don't have a heap of time for, and I don't even know if I have another replacement cable. So I'll do some investigating here, and we'll come back and chat about it. All right, so I got this as cleaned up as I could. I can't get this old bolt out, and I don't have enough. I don't have enough length to replace this end, so I'm gonna have to replace this whole cable. Now, fortunately, this cable actually just runs right back to the starter, which is right here. So it's only about 18 or 20 inches. So I can stop by the auto parts store here in the next couple days and get a new one, and I'll just have to take the hood back off and replace this cable here in the near future, or whenever it starts giving me problems. I'm not sure what caused all the corrosion. That is a little bit of a concern for me, but I got I got all this cleaned up. Maybe this summer I'll take and wire wheel this and actually put some Blitz Black on it. The ground came out really clean, nice and clean there, no problems. And then got the battery somewhat cleaner, if you can see that. At least cleaned off the top and everything. Oh, also cleaned the terminals, cleaned out the inside of the terminals on both cables. So get the battery slid back in here, and then get our holder stretched around. And then we're going to see if we can, now that I've puffed all this corrosion, naturally my sinuses are going to be an absolute pain. And we're going to see if we can't get this tight. I hope we can get it tight. I'm going to go ahead and put the sprayer line back on here. Did not clean off the sprayer line. I knew I forgot something. And I'll probably need to replace the end on the sprayer line as well, because the corrosion's gotten all back in there. So probably need to replace that at the same time I replace the end on the battery cable. I don't want to replace it now and have that corrosion come back, and then it's just an absolute royal pain. So put my positive back on here. A lot of little things that you have to do. I think probably that one of the big challenges with folks is, you know, they buy a new machine. So say the year is 2016. Somebody goes to a Deere dealer, buys a brand new X series, X710, X720, whatever, and then uses it and continues to use it. But then a lot of times just forgets to do the maintenance or doesn't even think about it, you know, because you got other things you want to be doing. And all of a sudden, you know, 2 years later or 4 years later, you haven't done any maintenance, and you have basically you end up with a situation like I've got with this battery cable, but it's all over the machine. Hopefully when we get to the, and I'll have to see how long this is. This might be a 2-part series. A couple years ago, when it was still dim in the shop, I did a video on the front end of this machine and doing some maintenance to it and whatnot. And people really liked that. So hopefully this will be a good follow-up to that video. So, all right, battery's done for right now. We'll come back in the next few weeks and go ahead and replace this cable right there. You know, it's just one of those things I don't have. I looked around and I have a bunch of lawn and garden cables with the crimped ends that are flat, but I don't have any of the lug style like this one right here. Something else I could do, now I'm sitting here looking at it, let me put the camera up a little bit. Something else I could do while I was at it, I'll replace the fuel filter. Granted, I replaced the fuel filter last year, and I mean, it doesn't even look dirty. There's no water in it because the water, this thread ring down here at the very bottom, it floats in water, and it's not floating or anything, so we should be good there. Air cleaner is probably perfectly fine. We can check it while we're up here. The restriction indicator looks fine. I could probably blow it out, but you know, there's nothing looks untoward about the filter. You know what, instead of screwing that up, I'm just going to go ahead and put it back. A little bit of dirt and debris in there, but nothing to write home about, so we're just going to keep on moseying. Just don't see a reason to mess with success. So, all right, let's change oil. All right, got the oil draining down there. That god-awful little drain plug, whatever you want to call it, that gets oil everywhere. But it's draining. And then now we need to work on the filter. Last changed it at 694 hours in June of 2020, and it's got about 764 hours on it now. So a little over for what I normally do. I always try to do 50-hour changes, but what I'm going to do to hasten the process, actually first, well, I actually specifically got up to get the brake clean, is I'm going to vent the engine. So I'm just going to clean that area right there. That way it's nice and clean. And then take and pull this cover off right here. Put my towel down so I didn't get oil all over the footrest. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off just for good measure. Nothing's down the engine. Now I can take the filter off. Problem with the filter is there's nothing to catch the oil underneath it, so it all just goes everywhere. So we're just going to slide a pan under there. Let's see if we can do this one-handed. Ooh, tighten this filter down. I mean, I know I did, but good grief. Of course, it didn't help that I'm trying to hold a camera and do this. So, all right, now prepare for the mess. So we'll just let that sit there and drain for just a second. Try to keep it forward of all of that. There we go. Nice thing is the oil is still pretty warm because I was running the machine earlier. So everything should drain really well. So I'm going to let it sit here and drain for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll put the new filter on and get the oil put back in it. All right, finally got all the oil drained out of this thing, and now we can fill it full of oil. And I'm just going to pull it out of my bucket here. So my bucket note says I need about 50 pumps. We'll get all the air out of the system first. Okay. And 50. Let that just percolate for just a second. We'll see where we're at fill wise. Right at the top, which means when we crank it up the first time, a little bit will go in the filter, and we should be good to go. Drain it here, get it back in my bucket. We'll put the lid back on. And this oil change is done. Now the X748 can be happy for another 50-60 hours. That's what looks like my... There we go. That was a little loose there. Alright, so let's crank it up and make sure everything works right. We'll go around to the... I'm going to knock everything off. Put it down on the floor. Okay. Now we'll check and make sure that our oil level didn't go down too far. About mid-stick. It's where I normally like to keep them. I found that if I keep them right there, I have a little bit better luck remembering where it's supposed to be. And so I basically just try to keep all the machines right around that mid-oil level, rather than trying to overfill it or anything. So now we can move on to the front axle, which will be the next, I'm pretty sure the front axle will be the next video, but I'll go ahead and kind of walk you through what I want to do. Basically what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pull, I don't necessarily want to take the front end apart, but I want to go ahead and make sure this is all clean and everything. I don't think I'm going to pull the steering cylinder off, but I'm at least going to pull this nut off right here and look and see how much wear there is. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull the tie rod off, because the tie rod has stuck before and hasn't allowed grease in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off and check the joints and everything and kind of go from there. So got to go find the jack, and then we will get this jacked up in the air, and that will be in the next video. So thanks for watching.